Welcome to the August 27th, 2019 episode of Reactive Consciousness, our in-depth podcast about what happened this week in our lives. I'm your host, vysethebold, and this is...
Lotus Prince.
And Dracologist.
Hey.
Oh, buddy.
Hey,
We got a wonderful show here for you. I'm it would really discourage you right up front to say it was bad. So I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna be real positive.
You're gonna be like a cation, which is positive, and not like an anion, which is negative.
Not like an anion.
You're gonna be like
or
a
an
proton, not an electron.
Or an antlion.
Antlions, I think, are neutral except for the fact that they really don't like ants. And they scared the hell out of me in SimAnt, by the way, because that was before
they scared
like
the hell out of me in Half-Life 2.
Oh, I can see that, but like I played SimAnt when I was a kid, and you never really see them coming. It's just like if you walk on their hole, it just kind of cuts to the screen of you died. So I'm just like, ah. Same with the spider. It scared the daylights out of me back in the day.
The daylights. Stephen King would have no use for you in his books.
Well, that's the deadlights.
Oh, okay.
Daylights, I think he would very much appreciate.
All right. Well, we. Right off on the top, I wanted to go over Mortal Kombat had some really interesting news this week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And quite a few guest characters involved here. But I do want to go over the returning characters first, because, the characters that are guest starring are real special, I think.
It's Mortal Kombat's really, it's turning into Soul Calibur, where it's like crazy guest character, like they're just bringing them out. It's pretty sweet.
So
last time they had the Xenomorph, so
yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah. So they had confirmed a little while ago that Shang Tsung was coming, and like in his form like that like is based off of the movie version of Shang Tsung, which is really cool.
Played by the movie actor.
Yeah, really cool stuff. I
like
love
the your soul is mine. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
Like the first movie, Shang Tsung.
Yes. Yeah, he wasn't in the second movie.
I've seen that actor in several movies. Actually, he's really good.
Oh yeah,
he wasn't
he
in.
Seems to be very much preferred as a villain.
Yes.
He wasn't in Mortal Kombat 2, was he?
Like only as a flashback. Like in the first Mortal Kombat movie, this happened and it showed you a clip, but he wasn't.
No, I mean
really...
the second video game. I don't even think he was in, right?
He was in the first Mortal Kombat, but then
Old Man Shang Tsung. Yeah, Old Man Shang Tsung was the villain of the first game, but young Shang Tsung was in 2 and 3.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He always looked different in the game.
Yeah, he's radically different. You could actually play as him starting in 2, where
that's right.
With today's Mortal Kombat, it would be too insane to do, but back then you could input push button special moves to turn into like every character in the game, like particular characters. That's quite a diverse moveset.
And, I want to move on from there, and Nightwolf.
Yeah, he's back. He's a Mortal Kombat 3 character.
He's back. Yeah, he's a really cool... I love his design. I always liked his design. He also has one of the cooler animalities, if I remember right. He has like a hawk, doesn't he?
It's been a while. It's hard for me to remember because... Well, that's the thing. It's hard for me to remember because a lot of the animalities don't correspond to what they are. Like Scorpion is not a scorpion. Yeah, like I don't remember what, like Johnny Cage was
Shiva
like
was a scorpion.
Was Johnny Cage was a kangaroo?
Really?
Someone was a kangaroo. It's freaking weird. But I remember I liked Nightwolf's fatality where like a spot of moonlight would show on the victim and they would just kind of get absorbed and turn into a skeleton. It would just look cool.
Well, another one that was announced was Sindel. She, thankfully, another female character.
Yeah, she was in Mortal Kombat 9 in a big part of the plot, and then she was just kind of not in 10.
Yeah, I'm glad that they're giving certain characters that were there for kind of the lackluster games to be in one of the better games now.
Well, Sindel was in like 3 as well. She's a classic character, but like I was surprised in Mortal Kombat 9 how big of a deal she was, because she was kind of one of the more forgettable characters from back in the day.
She was the screamy hair lady.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And speaking of which, one of her fatalities is, like, I don't remember what they were in the new one, like, because all the fatalities are just ultra-violent now, but, like, in Mortal Kombat 3, she had one of the actually, like, kind of gross violent fatalities. A lot of Mortal Kombat 2 and 3 were, like, stupid cartoon violence that didn't really look that nasty. Mortal Kombat 1 was kind of serious, but 2 and 3 not really. But Sindel's was nasty, where she screams your skin off.
Yeah, I also did, a lot of the female characters actually had some of the worst ones. You know, like what's her name?
Kitana
like,
and Jade and Melina. Yeah. Those were rough.
She just like eats somebody.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Melina's whole shtick that she's like a sort of man-eater monster. So.
Yeah, Melina was like part Tarkatan, which is Baraka's race. So like she takes off her veil and she's got these horrible shark teeth, and you're like, oh my god.
Well, the next ones are really what's special here. So the first one to release is going to be in October 8th. This is the Terminator T-800. That is
that's
the Arnold
unreal
Terminator. Yay. So Arnold is not going to be playing his voice, but it's obviously his likeness.
Sure. I mean, it always has been.
It's very realistic. It's very dead on with him. His look, his current look, even. So he's going to actually look like Arnold from like the most recent like Terminator movies, probably the one coming out soon.
I wonder if one of his fatalities is he takes your clothes and then Bad to the Bone starts playing.
Your clothes.
That's the one thing in the entire Terminator 2 movie that takes me out of the movie, because it's not an original soundtrack. Bad to the Bone just dates the movie. Like, it was super appropriate at the time, but now I'm like, oh, it's that classic rock song.
yeah, that is a little cheesy, but the scene is great, though.
Yes. Actually, you know what I hope he does for real as a fatality? Like, actually, I hope he does is, like, opens a long box with roses that fall out and just fucking shoots you with a shotgun.
Freaking great.
That'd be amazing.
Just minigun you into pieces.
Yes.
I think it's going to be really interesting because they're going to have a unique skeleton for him because he's metal.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, if you ever have like a reduce them to bone fatality, it's not going to quite work on him.
Or just one of those is X-ray attacks when you.
That's true.
Slow-mo, like, also, how the hell that would work? Like you would punch a T-800 and your fist would break.
I think they're just going to be like, fuck it, you broke it. It's fine.
Exactly.
You're way stronger than even we thought.
You could punch through steel, not just rib cages, but steel rib cages.
Well, don't you remember Mortal Kombat 1? You could karate chop fucking Diamond. Just don't worry about it.
But this is cool. He's a cool character.
That said, like, we already had fighting robots in the name of Cyrax and Sector. So
that's true, but they were like you said. Well, they weren't full-on robots though. They were cyborgs, so they might have had actual bones.
I don't know. I only know that they were robots.
No, I guarantee they're cyborgs. Like it's a whole plot thing. They're part of the Lin Kuei, like Sub-Zero's ninja group. Like they initiated like a mechanization program. And actually, if you play Mortal Kombat 9, you see Cyrax and Sector in human form, like pre-transformation, and like a really cool sort of twist in the standard lore of MK9. Because, like, the whole thing is you're kind of rebooting the series. Like, it is a sequel to Armageddon because you went back in time. And, like a big twist is that Sub-Zero becomes mechanized and Smoke doesn't. So you have, like, Cyborg Sub-Zero, and you're like, oh, shit. Like, it's really cool.
Was those two ninja called Cyrax and Sector before they were mechanized?
I think they actually are. Their human forms are called that. And it's like, what a weird coincidence considering how 90s robot they sound. That's just their names.
100%.
But it was really cool because Cyrax would like throw bombs instead of like shoot them out of his chest. Like bombs were always his thing. I thought that was kind of cool.
Homing missiles, I think.
Yeah.
Sector was the missiles. I forgot what he did to make that work. Right. Maybe like a wrist launcher
Cyrax
or something.
And what was that police guy?
Striker.
Striker.
He was like one of my least favorite characters. He was so like whatever in MK3.
Yeah, well, we should move on to the next one because this is also really exciting.
Yeah, the next one's nuts.
In January, we have Joker, like straight up DC's Joker.
Yeah, but it's like Injustice 2's Joker. It's like radical, like, boy, I look cool, like edgy teen Joker.
Yeah, you know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of kind of like the Tim Drake Joker, like in like the bad future. Like Batman Return of the Joker.
I wouldn't know, but he just looks exactly like Injustice's Joker to me.
What I don't like about the whole fighting game Joker is that the Joker is always a cerebral character and not a crawler.
I mean, that's true, but like everyone wants to play as Joker. You know, it's one of those kinds of things. It's like the fans love him even though they don't necessarily know like I have read all the Batman comics. Like I mean, even in the Dark Knight, like Batman straight up fought the Joker once toward the beginning and then never again because that wasn't the point.
Well, what I find is cool about this, what I find is cool about this is that like Mortal Kombat versus DC is a game that everybody forgets happened.
I still want to play that because the final boss, I don't know what he looks like, but I know what he is, and it's insane.
Oh, who is it?
Dark Khan. Like, you know how the latest Marvel vs. Capcom game, Infinite, had Sigma Ultron, which is like the scariest combination? Well, this is Darkseid and Shao Kahn. What a fucking nightmare. Fuck this.
Oh, Jesus.
It's called Dark Khan. I don't even know what he fights like or anything, but it's like,
Before we move on, who's Sigma?
Sigma is the villain of the Mega Man X series.
Mega Man X, yeah.
Right.
But, yeah, I like that. So, Joe, just some background. Joker was the only DC character out of them all in that they allowed fatalities to be performed on, and that could perform fatalities as well.
That's true. The villains, like the Mortal Kombat characters, had tamer fatalities, and the heroes had what were called heroic brutalities, which was kind of like Mortal Kombat 1.
What happens in Injustice, basically, you know, like they don't like murder each other.
No, that's true, but like at the time though, it was more like Mortal Kombat 1 if you did not put in the code, where like, you know, Sub-Zero rips out your fucking spine, or he uppercuts you and you fly high in the air and land on the ground with no blood. Yeah. Like, oh, okay. Like, so like the so DC and Mortal Kombat, they would like punch you 100 times and you'd fall down. So it looked kind of cool, but it wasn't like Mortal Kombat. I remember hearing, I think it was the Mortal Kombat devs said when they were interacting with DC, they said they kept trying to get away with as much as they could, and whenever they were told to take it down a notch, they would take it down as little as possible until they said, okay, it's acceptable, which I thought was kind of funny. Actually, speaking of which, this is a real quick callback, but in Mortal Kombat 9, Shang Tsung had a fatality where he weirdly turned into a clown and jumped up and down and danced around, shot a gun that said bang, but then shot you with an actual pistol. That was, like, literally ripped from, that was the animation of the Joker in Mortal Kombat versus DC.
Oh, wow.
So that was like a callback. He just looked like a generic clown, though, instead of the Joker, but it was like, you know what this is supposed to be, like that kind of thing.
That was called animation recycling, I think.
Yeah, it was. It was exactly what it was, but it was a callback at the same time.
Joker's one of his fatalities I remember was like his like buzzer, you know, like,
oh really?
Yeah, you know, like that electrifies you.
Yeah, the
like
Jack Nicholson buzzer.
Yeah.
Just blowing the clowns.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so the final one is going to be on March 17th. This is actually pretty cool. Not his first go around in a fighting game, as we talked about before, but it's kind of cool that they're adding him. Plus, I'm sure that Todd McFarlane has no problems with people maiming him. Spawn.
Not only that. Yeah, go ahead.
But go ahead.
That character fits because he's like, Spawn comics are fucking brutal.
Yeah, Spawn actually feels more at home in Mortal Kombat than he does in Soul Calibur.
Absolutely.
But yeah, Spawn is going to be voiced by Keith David, who is a very prolific...
Motherfucking Keith David.
Yeah, he's a prolific actor and voice actor, but this is also appropriate. It's like Kevin Conroy voicing Batman. Keith David voiced HBO cartoon series Spawn, which is pretty cool.
Which is everybody's favorite depiction of him outside of the comics.
Yeah, the comics themselves, yeah.
Well,
you don't like the movie with John
Leguizamo?
With Luigi as the clown.
Actually, he's probably the best part.
he genuinely is. Like, he's so stupid, but like that's his role. He's clearly enjoying himself, which I very much appreciate.
I never dislike John Leguizamo. I think he always does a good job.
Yeah. What's the Violator's last name? He's the Violator.
But that's a toy everybody had when they were a kid, or
Violator looks like Violator looks like the Green Drakes from Hexen and Heretic.
Oh yeah.
You know, I never thought about that, but he really does, actually. That's wow.
Well, Todd McFarlane isn't exactly well known for his originality. He makes great art, but his originality is not.
I know that
something he has.
I know that what is it called? Kingdoms of Amalur is Todd McFarlane art.
Oh,
and
okay.
I actually have a sort of this plastic little figurine, which is Todd McFarlane based.
Huh. Oh yeah. A lot of. I mean, Todd McFarlane might as well be more well known for his action figures than his comics.
Yeah, those action figures were huge back in the day to Spawn stuff.
Yeah, because they were so detailed, and they were on
they were
lot of
crazy
other
looking.
They were
it was like, you know how there was like a million action figures for like Alien? It was like that and Spawn.
Yeah, and he also did a lot of sports action figures as well. Like,
I did not know that.
Yeah, no, he was actually really famous for it. Like, you knew you made it in the professional sports space if you had an action figure made by Todd McFarlane.
That's
after
cool.
you. He's a huge sports fan. He at one time owned the Mark McGwire ball.
Oh, nice.
But I think he got one of the balls, but he got the record-breaking one, but he didn't get the last one, of that season because all of a sudden he has one more home run, it's no longer the record ball, but yeah, cool stuff. But go ahead.
I just wanted to say that I think Todd McFarlane was who made the comics based on the Kiss, the metal group.
The Psycho Circus stuff.
I would not be surprised. The aesthetic lines up.
That fits. Yeah, that fits. Well, moving on from that, let me see here. I don't know if you guys read the rumor about Smash Brothers. Did you see that?
I heard about it just today. Yeah, apparently on Amazon there was a product up for pre-order that was some sort of slipcover case that was Overwatch branded, and everyone was like, "What?" And all of a sudden the product was delisted. So there's nothing behind this, but people are wondering if that means Tracer for Smash because it was a Nintendo Overwatch thing. So people are like, does that mean? So, this may not have anything to do with Smash at all, but people are speculating.
Yeah, apparently a rumor came out that, was posted by a 4chan poster that is, that sounded like it looked like it might have had some credence or something to it, but to the fact that where they were the next character is going to be announced mid-September. It's going to confuse a lot of people, and it's going to be a female character that not a lot of people are pining for. But I think that's cool. I mean, they need more female characters first of all.
You're gonna have to play as Tracer exclusively in first-person mode. It'll be really hard to follow the game.
I mean, Tracer would be a cool addition. I mean, she's a great character.
She has a cool gimmick where she can go back and undo a couple of seconds worth of damage. I could say it being really goddamn annoying.
She has a cool, fun personality. So,
I
think she's the. What are you talking about?
What's that?
What was it?
She's a Cockney Sparrow.
Yeah,
which I'm quite all right with.
Yeah, and she's the the face of the game too.
Yeah, I mean that would be a good choice, but everybody of course is hoping for Waluigi and with Gino. Those are
Gino.
The two
I don't know, man. Waluigi, it's more of a meme that he doesn't get in at this point. I would love to see him, but I think it's more effective at the message that he doesn't get in, which is unfortunate because I would like him to get in.
Yeah, it
but
says...
But he's an assist trophy, so it's too late,
September 12th, the new Smash character reveal, female character. She's not a demanded character and will disappoint and confuse a lot of people, that is all.
Yeah, I didn't even hear about the announcement. I just saw a Nintendo Overwatch-themed product on Amazon that was delisted, and people were like, oh!
Yeah, I think whoever it ends up being, I'll be interested either way.
Yeah, Tracer is, I believe, the most iconic... at least among the most iconic of the characters too.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
She's the poster child.
Yeah, literally, she's on the box.
Yeah. Moving on from that, I just wanted to say a quick bit. I got my Battle Gorega limited edition for PS4. came in to my house, and it's beautiful. It's so cool to see a game that never got like an official release in America until now, and after all these years you had to import it. Like it came with this like Saturn style box and everything, like American Saturn style box.
What on earth is in that box that doesn't need so that much space?
I know, those boxes were never cleverly designed. Like, Japan's Saturn games came in regular-ass CD cases, because that's all you needed.
I just love this. It's so cool. It comes with the vinyl and everything. Yeah. I'm stoked.
By the way, if we're going to talk about games that never came to the US until finally just now that we just got in, I just got my copy of Metal Wolf Chaos today because GameStop released it for pre-orders. At least my GameStop did at like 9 p.m. today. Today being today being Monday and not Tuesday when it officially releases.
9 a.m. was it?
No, p.m. Like when the store was about to close. I mean, I'm still not gonna play it for like until I stream it. But like, hey, got it.
I'll be able to pick my copy up then, probably tomorrow then.
Well, yeah, it officially comes out on Tuesday, so yeah, go whenever you want.
Yeah,
I wish you said it on Steam.
I reserved it.
Yeah, you get it on Steam too.
Yeah, you hear
if you want to get it digitally, you could have gotten it like 3 weeks ago.
I hear the PC port's a little, but the PS4 one's a little bit more stable.
Fair enough, I'll take it.
And in other vinyl news, the Metal Gear Solid 2 vinyl set is coming out. So I'm excited about that. Metal Gear Solid 1.
Like 45 minutes into listening to the record, you should give yourself a break. Turn the record player off. What? I need scissors.
Really cool
61.
That would be a cool ending for like the side one of the disc.
Yeah, turn to side B. I think you've been listening enough.
Well, if you've been following the podcast, you'll know that I collect Konami vinyls. Yeah. So this is right up my alley, even more so than Silent Hill.
Does a secret message appear on the record if you leave it running for 30 minutes?
God, I hope.
That wouldn't even make sense considering what game it is, but who cares?
I'm just excited to be like playing like dun 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 on my Victrola. Like it's just.
So do you have to find a microphone and say your name in it repeatedly until you hear a baby giggle?
just give me Yell That Cell all day, every day, man.
Jareth.
Oh fuck that. That was the most annoying thing. I had a guide and the entire chat on stream helping me out, and I still couldn't do it because nobody knew what to do.
Well, it isn't really Jareth. But
well, that part worked decently for me, but I could never get the third baby cry. I could never do it. I got the second a couple times. I could never get the third.
Yeah, the mic one was always the one that messed me up.
It sucked. I was so close.
Yeah. And also Hideo Kojima's birthday was just the other day over the weekend. I actually on his on his post on Twitter about his birthday, I put the numbers from PT.
Nice.
In the feed, and somebody liked it. I thought it was funny.
And Hideo Kojima responded, "What the hell is this?" It's like, oh,
I'm not getting it. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, what do you? And then you referenced Alien, and he was like, "Oh, okay."
It was some crappy movie from the 80s. You would have liked it.
Yeah, reference 2001: Space Odyssey. Nice.
It was Kubrick. I swear.
Yeah, it was from the 60s. You fool.
But I once again, I love Konami stuff. I only hope for more. I hope they don't forego Castlevania Bloodlines as a vinyl release, because that may be my like number 1 or number 2 favorite Castlevania soundtrack. So
nice.
Mine is it's right up there with Castlevania
64.
3.
Yeah, Castlevania 64 hands down.
Actually, that has good music too.
I only really remember the boss theme, which actually was pretty alright, but like I don't remember any of the other soundtrack. I haven't played it since the 64 was like the current gen.
Legacy of Darkness, the remake of that, or
the director's cut or whatever
director's cut or whatever it is, had some remixes of classic Castlevania tunes in it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, That was a fine game. I don't care what anybody says.
It was early 3D, so it was clunky as shit, but like I liked it all right at the time. And like, I've said this before on the podcast, but like Legacy of Darkness is a pretty cool final boss, but original Castlevania 64's final boss is fucking crazy. Like I love it.
Yeah, I love the extra boss too.
I never fought him, but I know what he is, and he's amazing.
Yeah. Moving on from that, Ninja Saviors, which is the American name for what is it? Ninja Warriors again.
Ninja Warriors is a really expensive Super Nintendo game that came out later, like Ninja Warriors again with like extra stuff. So now it's Ninja Saviors for us for some reason. I guess they don't want to fight American Ninja Warrior or something.
Yeah. Well, either way, this is great because this is made by the same people who made the game back then, first of all. And they're also the same people who made Wild Guns, which was great.
Oh, this is Natsume?
Yeah, the Natsume devs are the ones that made that. Fame? No, I don't think the same. They have a lot in common with this, but
I thought they did do Tulip though, didn't they?
I mean the actual devs themselves, like the.
Okay.
Speaking of ninja stuff, if I may insert a little self-experience, there is a game called Shadow Warriors, not the first-person shooter game.
Oh, sure.
There was like a Commodore 64 and N64 games.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no way.
Probably Sega. I think I've shown this to Lotus that one of the final level has like effigy, like sort of this wall reliefs of the Pillar Man.
Oh, okay.
Nice. Real cool.
That is pretty sexy.
That was really amusing. While a sort of iteration, I think, of Iron Man plays.
Nice.
The Black Sabbath song.
Gotcha.
That is pretty great.
But Ninja Saviors is something I've been really looking forward to. They did a really great job remaking Wild Guns, and they added a bunch of content and extra characters, and made it 4-player and all that jazz. And
by the way, this is the ultimate like 90s and 2000s cool. Like it's a beat 'em up, and you're robot ninjas.
Yeah,
and this time it actually is robots. Like you're like if you die, you fucking explode. It's crazy.
I'm just such a big fan of this because Ninja Warriors again and Wild Guns were both rare games in the United States too. The
Super Nintendo Wild Guns is insanely expensive.
They're both two of the highest collectibles, and they're making essentially versions of both of these games that are better than their originals and more widely available.
Yeah, come to think of it, both of these games being remade have like 2 extra characters or 1 extra character or something. Like there's a whole other thing going on.
There are at least 2.
Like Wild Guns was 2, Ninja was like 1 or 2.
Yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait to play this out. The people that bought this early and got the Japanese version say it's really fun.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, speaking of like robot ninjas and Wild Guns, you're human cowboys, cowgirls, whatever, but you're shooting like robots
and it's like steampunky.
Yeah, steampunk robot Wild West. Yeah. It's like what, but it's awesome.
So much fun. Yeah, I recommend getting that. It's Wild Guns Reloaded is what it's called.
Yeah, also, it is like that game is hard. Like Wild Guns is a hard game. Like if you look at somebody playing it, if you watch gameplay footage, you're like, I think I get it, and then you try it and you get your ass kicked.
Yeah, it's a Cabal clone, but it's like the best Cabal clone by far.
Oh, that's Wild, because there is another Wild Guns, but that is an RPG game.
Oh yeah, Wild Arms. Yeah.
Oh, Wild Arms. Yeah. That's very close.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's a great game. I mean, I have it on the Switch, and I actually think that's a good one to play with your friends because it's like up to 4 players.
It's like mandatory to play with your friends. The game's fucking hard.
Yeah, it is. It is hard, but you also want to play with somebody who's good.
No, that's true. Yeah, like dying is no good.
It's like in Contra and like Gunstar Heroes, you don't want to play or Ikaruga. You don't want to play with somebody who isn't as good as you, because like, or Battletoads, because you'll never get as far as you'd like to.
Well, Battletoads is a little unfair. I think that game is literally unbeatable with 2 players. Like I watched a speed run of it, and like they like player 2 like had to game over at such and such a point and continue later. It was like, Jesus Christ.
It's true. Well, moving on from that, just wanted to go over a couple games that are coming out this week. Astral Chain is coming out, I believe, on Thursday.
Yeah, that was the Platinum game, right?
Yeah, and by all accounts, so far, the Metacritic score is super, super high on it. It's
Good.
it's around 88%, which is really high for pre-release.
Yeah.
So apparently, some people are saying it's Platinum's best game so far.
That's high praise.
Which, I don't think they've had a bad game.
Well, I've heard that some games are definitely like like I've heard that Ninja Turtles was like okay, yeah, Legend of Korra was like whatever. Yeah.
But they don't make bad games. Is my point.
No, Dracologist, what were you saying?
Legend of Korra was a solid. What?
No, I was just asking what you were saying.
The Legend of Korra game was a little bit dull.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
And slow starter.
Was that the game where you platinum it by beating the practice level? Or like level 1 or something?
Yeah, it's one of the easiest ways to... no, that just might be the Avatar game, I think.
Maybe that's what it was? Okay.
The last Airbender game, yeah.
I don't remember, but that's quite funny.
Yeah. But,
they also made Transformer Devastation, if I recall.
Yes.
Yeah, they made Transformers Devastation. That's one of their weaker titles, but apparently it's still fun.
I saw Pyro play some of it. It looked pretty fun, yeah.
Yeah. But considering that people really love Nier Automata.
Yeah, I gotta play that. I gotta play Tracking Guard 3 first, because that's how my brain works.
That's how you roll. But considering that and like Bayonetta 2 being that great and like
I gotta play that too.
Yeah, so many of their games are really held in really high regard. People saying that this is their favorite is like a big deal.
Yeah. And like No Gear Rising, people love Rising.
It might be one of their mediocre titles too, but
which one, Vice?
Anarchy Reigns.
That is mediocre.
Yeah, mediocre.
Like if you any level you play is super cool, and then you realize, oh, that's the entire game is just this.
Yep.
All right. Like I get it.
Yeah. It's a shame.
Although Bayonetta is a DLC character in that, by the way, which is kind of funny.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of Bayonetta 2 on PC, please.
Yeah, right. It's on what, the Wii U and the Switch, and that's it.
That's it. Yeah, because it was funded by Nintendo. It's a Nintendo game.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, that's true. On PC, it's unlikely by Nintendo. Like Bayonetta 1. I mean, like other like Sega. Like Bayonetta 1 is a love letter to Sega. Did that make it to PC? Bayonetta 1.
Bayonetta 1 is on PC. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bayonetta
and
Vanquish
are both on PC, and Nier Automata is on PC, and so is Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance.
Yeah. That game was crazy.
Actually, quite a few of their games are on PC. I mean, the Ninja Turtle game was on PC before it got delisted.
Yeah, delisted. Same for Transformers.
Yeah. Probably Legend of Korra was on there at some point as well.
Yeah, Anarchy Reigns was like what, PS3 360 only?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
And it has characters from, of course, Mad World, which is a much better game if you ask me. I like Mad World.
Yeah. You have the main character from Mad World. You have like the bull guy from Mad World, and then, like I said, Bayonetta from Bayonetta.
Mm-hmm. Mad World actually had a structure, but it wasn't a perfect game, but it had some levels design.
Yeah, and, like Anarchy Reign was just like mash the punch button some more.
It's a precursor to Pato Box.
Yeah, okay.
It's like a game like Super Smash Brothers, only 3D.
Yeah, kind of. Although I will say, though, it had a freaking banger soundtrack, Anarchy Reigns.
Yeah, and I love those announcers.
Well, no, Mad World had the announcers, but Anarchy Reigns had a sweet soundtrack.
Yeah, it was just like cool in theme, but like not in gameplay.
Yeah.
Moving on. Also wanted to announce, this is a real quick thing. This is for Ultra Edge cases. Me and Lotus will be happy about this, but Kevtris, the designer of the Mega SG, the Analog Mega SG, Analog NT, and Super NT, also made an adapter to allow you to use the Mega SD, which is like the most recent flash card.
Yeah.
To work with 32X Sega CD combo games. So
it's such a specific thing. Finally, I could play that version of Night Trap or Fahrenheit or whatever the hell.
Yeah. So that came from that news came from Retro RGV's Smoke Monster, but I mean I'm going to get it, but like I don't even want to play those games. I just want to have it for the ability, but
yeah, I don't know if there's any Sega CD 32X games that I care about, and how many even exist?
They're
like
all
4 or
FMV
5?
games. They're all FMV games too.
Well, I like FMV games, but Night Trap just isn't fun. Like it's great to watch, but it just isn't fun to play at all. Like stuff like Wirehead or like Mad Dog McCree. I love that shit, but like
Phantasmagoria.
You know, I haven't played that, but it's a point and click, so sure, I would enjoy playing that.
That one's not it. So I'll give you the full list. So you have Corpse Killer, which is a better version on the Saturn and PC at this point in modern consoles.
Yeah.
Fahrenheit, which has never been ported, but that one I actually like that one the best out of all of them.
What even is that?
It's a firefighter game.
Makes sense.
Yeah. It's the precursor to the David Cage game. No.
Yeah, right.
Night Trap, which also has superior versions currently.
Yeah.
This one has not gotten a port yet or anything. Slam City with Scottie Pippen.
Oh man! All right. You know what? Buying a Mega SD right now.
Yeah, but so this is a first-person basketball game where you actually you go up against like Scottie Pippen facing the camera, but you are the camera.
I wouldn't trust people to make a first-person basketball game now. Are you fucking serious?
Yeah, no, it's great. And so you have like these digital arms like extending from you,
That's
and
amazing.
like you have to press things at the right time, just like in
it's QTE.
Oh yeah, like all FMV games are QTE.
Oh, it's FMV. That's right. Because I was gonna say like, there's no way you're playing like I could see VR at best, and even then, that is tenuous.
Oh, it's goofy as shit.
Yeah.
QTE or what is it called? Point and click games.
You know, just like QTE is like this
I know what QTE is.
The Shenmue thing, but You're thinking of the other name for it, right?
No. QuickTime event.
QuickTime event.
What I meant is like FMV games can be either like these QuickTime event games or point and clicks.
Yeah.
Yeah, or like light gun.
Yeah. Well, well, that's what Fahrenheit and Corpse Killer are like. Supreme Warrior is very much the same thing, but it's...
Oh, that's like a fighting like Bloodsport game in the first person?
Exactly. Yeah. It's exactly the same kind of thing as
I gotta try that out. It looks insane.
And then Surgical Strike, which is like a helicopter game that was only released in Brazil. In that form. Surgical Strike was an actual Sega CD game, but it was only a hybrid game in Brazil.
You know what I really want to play? This is getting off topic, but I mentioned that I like the Mad Dog McCree games. I really want to play Crime Patrol. They're just Mad Dog McCree again, but like in modern day.
I want to play that Space Pirates one for the 3DO, whatever the hell that was called.
Yeah, like a similar style game. I forgot what that was called. That might be on PS3.
Yeah, there's an FMV like Space Pirate like light gun game on the 3DO. I just forget what it's called.
There is something called Sewer Shark, because you know.
Oh yeah, Sewer Shark.
Sewer Shark is goofy as hell.
Yeah, Sewer Shark is like its own thing.
That's one of those like. That's what people remember when they think of the Sega CD when they don't really know it too well.
Because it was heavily marketed and it was also a pack-in, so like...
Yeah, but like also a lot of people remember those kinds of games. Those are the games where like it was all attitude and they yell at you when you lose, like Night Trap. Like, what are you doing? You're supposed to be protecting those girls, and game over. Like, what?
Yeah. Moving on from that, this was huge news for at least me and Lotus. Yakuza Remastered Collection.
This really means a lot to me.
Officially announced.
Yep.
So this means a lot because digitally, like, it's great that they're coming out. Like, you can buy Yakuza 3 right now, but the physical versions particularly mean something to me. Well, kind of. Digital or physical, Yakuza 3 is easily the biggest deal of the 3 games coming out, because Yakuza 3 was butchered to hell in the West. There's so much cut content, because they thought the pleb Westerners wouldn't understand or appreciate this Japanese content, even though we had a bunch of it in Yakuza 2, so it's like,
and
what the fuck?
Not only that, but the fans that would be playing it are, like, all people that love Japanese stuff. Like,
yeah. So,
like, they're all anime watchers.
There was a shit ton of cut content, and even if you went into Yakuza blind, like if Yakuza 3 was your first Yakuza game ever, and you've never even heard of the series...
Which is very possible, because it was the first PS3 game.
Yeah, it's easy to miss the PS2 releases. If you didn't know anything, you would still know that something was up, because the map of Kamurocho looks like it always does, except... so many buildings are just grayed out and permanently inaccessible. So even if you're new to the series, you'd be like, well, why do they program it into the game then? So there's just a lot of places you just can't go to, which it's really jarring, especially if you've come off from Yakuza 2. So that content is getting restored. Now, as far as the physical edition, Yakuza 5 means a lot to me, because Yakuza 5 only came out digitally in the States, and it's a big game. It's a freaking Yakuza game.
Oh, sure.
It took forever for me to download and install, so it'll be nice to get a physical of that.
Not only that, but it's coming with a bundled PS3 physical box for the 5th game, which is really cool.
That's pretty cute. I like that.
It's a physical box that you never got, and they're putting in the extra effort to go back one generation and give you the old style box.
Yeah, I like that, because this was something. This is going way back, like a couple of years ago, but Limited Run Games was doing like a Q&A. And someone had asked, like, is there any game that you really want to make or do a limited run release of? And they had said Yakuza 5, but they, like, couldn't get permission for it. So, like, it's guaranteed to not happen. So it's cool that they're not giving us the PS3 game in a PS3 case, but, like, they're giving us a wink, which I appreciate.
Yeah, and you could put it next to the rest of your PS3 Yakuza games.
Oh, of course.
Which,
yeah,
there are plenty
cool.
of. I think there how many?
PS3?
Yeah, there's...
America got 4. There's 3, 4, 5 in Dead Souls, and then Japan got, like, Ishin.
Yeah, and
there's,
like,
one 2 Ishin games. There's, like, a PS3 and PS4 game, yeah.
Yeah. But moving on from that, I did want to just quickly mention this. I'm not going to dwell on it a lot.
Actually, one more thing real quick. Digital only, but I think Yakuza 0 was PS3 and PS4 simultaneous release.
Gotcha. I should add that the Yakuza Remastered Collection is going to be a collection that is added to gradually. Like, as each game comes out, they'll send you an update for it. Except when you buy the physical, you have to wait for it. But yeah.
Well, I mean, the physical, I mean, it might be fine anyway. The physical comes out in, like, what, February?
February, yep.
But but Yakuza 3 digital, you can buy it right now. 4 is not yet out though.
Yeah, gotcha. Now, I'm not gonna spend a ton of time on this, because I was trying to avoid talking about this a lot in the last episode, because I don't like, there have been times in which I've voiced my opinion about this kind of stuff in the past, but I also, I know that there's a melange of ideas and things like that, but obviously I think I have the moral high ground, as anybody else would, but I do want to just quickly mention that I think this is a weird, a very odd thing for a publisher to do.
Oh, so, the 3DS and Wii U. I see where you're going with
this. No. So as much as I really want to play this game, I genuinely really want to play this, and it's really a bummer. Especially considering I just got back into playing, like, the original Doom and Sigil and all that. Ion Fury has a couple things in it that are homophobic in it.
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Nope.
Okay.
This is what Dracologist was bringing up before we started recording.
Yeah, it's a big, like, smear sort of this shit-flinging that I brought to your knees, now give me money. Like, this is just without the money. It's just someone having a really good time enjoying this mess they made. Don't just buy the game and have a blast blowing through cyborgs.
Yeah, but like, can you contextualize this though?
Like, which part?
Well,
like,
I mean, there's a gay slur in the game.
No.
What do you mean no?
There is like a wordplay on one of like there is some sort of soap in it.
Yeah.
And that like that was renamed into like to be like that. It's just a poster on the wall, there for giggles.
Yeah, but it has a literal gay slur in it. Like it literally says FAG. Like it literally says that. I mean, that's a gay slur.
No, I didn't see any of that.
It's literally in the game. It's there.
I haven't looked into it, so I have to look
maybe
it
it's
up.
not reference to cigarette.
Not at all.
Well, even if it is, that's obviously like a wink.
Look, I found like weird reference. I found the reference to like sort. Like I needed to research this, but there was like a reference to some sort of site to like, what there is people large draws all your favorite is anthropomorphic animals in various questionable poses and is with their tits out. I found this reference to that site.
What, DeviantArt?
Well, that type of art, but it's not as like on the upload stage. It's like sort of this searching outpost.
Well, here's my point. If this game didn't have a gay slur in it, I would have bought it. I'm just gonna like, even if the devs have their own opinions about things and all this other stuff, I do not, I don't mind people having their other opinions, but this is something that they actually like slipped into the game, and then people said, hey, this isn't cool, and then 3D Realm said that they were going to remove it, which, I don't think it should have even been in there to begin with.
Oh, I see. Okay, so there was, like, based on Googling it from a story that was published 10 hours ago at the time of this recording, so, like, on Monday the 26th, there was, like, a straight-up slur that was in an area that was inaccessible without hacking the game, so it's, like, you shouldn't encounter it, but it's in there. But there was also some poster that was, like, parodying Olay, like, the brand, with like "oh gay," and it's just like that would have been funny when I was like in middle school.
Yeah, here's my point. I first of all, like, I don't agree with it, but it's also like really childish and like it's an infantile type of humor.
Well, that's the thing. Like it's offensive now that I'm 33, but also like it's a 20-year-old joke. Like, are you fucking kidding me? More like "oh gay." Like, are you really?
What I'm disappointed in is that, first of all, that it made it into the final product. It should have been something that should have been removed or not even been in there to begin with. If it wasn't in there, we wouldn't even have this debate. That's the thing, and it isn't an artistic decision. Like, you can't come up to me and say, "Oh, well, this is something that informs the game's theme, so therefore it's important." Or it's something important artistically to say. It's not. It's just, a juvenile joke that,
all that it is.
That's all that it is. It's a juvenile joke. And
so, then what's the problem? So just get a gun and shoot.
Well, the problem is the reaction to it, and I'll tell you why. "Oh gay" is, that one's so goofy that I don't really care about that.
Yeah, that's not critically offensive. That's just like, come on. Yeah.
It's the slur that bothers me. I'm just gonna come out and say it.
Also, there was what Dracologist said before we started recording, where it said the developers are criticized for using like offensive language in their Discord channel. Which
I don't care about that.
Yeah, that was not in the game, but that's more like, oh, the developers are shitty.
Yeah, I mean,
it wasn't offensive language. They just said that one specific group of people are complete bonkers.
That sounds like offensive. Well, not offensive language, but offensive post.
I mean, they were using the coded language, just like SJWs, SJWs. Like whenever you use that, it's like. Anyway, I don't want to even get into that. But here's my problem with it. It has a slur in the game, and you're bound. You're just asking for it. You're just asking for people to get offended by it. Maybe that was the goal all along. But here's another thing. The publisher said that they were going to get rid of both of those things, and they were going to donate to a suicide awareness program for LGBTQ people. Which it's still set bad for me because it was a reaction thing. They're only doing it because people reacted poorly to it.
Yeah.
And now they're pedaling back and saying they're not doing it at all, and it's a censorship issue. That's ridiculous.
It's not. Like, if I walk in and cut shit out of their game, that's censorship. But if people tell you that you should censor your stuff, it's still your choice.
I think it's just ridiculous. And if none of it was in the game to begin with, it would have been so much better. Everybody could just enjoy this and not even have to talk about it.
You could complain about censorship if, policy is making you censor, but that's not what's happening.
It's just disappointing that they don't think that this doesn't offend people, or they don't care that if it offends people.
Yeah, again, I could have seen these jokes being right at home in a Leisure Suit Larry game, but again, even those games have changed with the times.
Yeah, I don't get it. I really don't. I really don't understand.
And again, Shadow Warrior, that whole game was an offensive stereotype, but the new Shadow Warrior is not. The new Shadow Warrior is just a fucking sweet FPS, and that's the long and short of it.
Yeah. I don't know.
People still complained about Shadow Warrior as too.
No kidding.
Yes, because some people get their panties into bunch for everything. They're like, oh my god, this guy is making offensive jokes. Ban it all.
Well, it depends on what the offensive joke is, though, because Duke Nukem was your face, your ass, what's the difference? And it's that's not going to personally bother a group of people.
Yeah, see that's really my issue with it, is I like silly stuff too. I don't mind so much, something like, I don't know, the Wii Punch-Out, which has, the stereotypes in that are so ridiculous, it's hilarious.
Well, it's like you told me back in the day. They're 1930s, 40s stereotypes.
Yeah,
the German guy is a World War I handlebar mustache, overall wearing, boot blacking. It's are you? No one stereotypes Germans that way. And even on top of that, that was the NES game, but the Wii game humanized all these characters by having them speak their own language and to have different personalities. Except for maybe King Hippo. That was what? He's a literal monster.
But it's so outrageous, and not even it's not mean-spirited. You know what I mean? It's just goofy.
But also, Japan doesn't care.
Japan really doesn't care.
Japan didn't make that. It was Next Level, but Next Level made that game. But I find this kind of stuff mean-spirited. I just don't. I don't like slurs. I don't like putting anybody down directly. There's a difference between having fun with you and then just slapping somebody down. And I feel that's what this is. But everybody has their own opinions, and this is a good game. It's an objectively good game, and it's a shame.
It's a really good game.
Yeah, it's really good, and it's a shame that they're locking a lot of people out of enjoying it by doing this, and that's really.
I'm fairly sure the people who will get offended are the minority, and people who come to here to play a brilliant fast-paced FPS is going to enjoy it regardless what the game going to call them. Trust me.
I mean, it depends on like what you're going for. I mean, there's I don't mind reading Lovecraft, for example, because the guy's dead and his shit's in the public domain.
Yeah. It's a complicated topic, but, I just know where I stand on it. I already made a decision. I read the articles. I read enough. I read enough, and I read the response, and it was not a good one. It's like classic, like just doubling down on your shitty decision. I don't know. If this is why does this matter so much to them that they can't just like change a couple?
Well, that's the thing.
Things?
That's the thing that I find weird is that like I understand like being like, oh god, people are offended by this, but what I find strange is like this is what you're fighting to keep though. Like this is a very easy problem.
Yeah.
Like I'd rather keep fag in the game. Really? All right.
Exactly. That's my point. Not something that I think is worth fighting for, really. And they can feel free to release it. I mean, like that's the thing. I'm not saying that.
That's the beauty of it. It's their choice, and people will show their support or their lack thereof with their wallets. So like it'll come down to like come back in a month and see how many bought the game, I guess. Oh, Dracologist, regarding the slur, like I said from the article that I had Googled, it was apparently like it was an area accessible only through hacking. Like you couldn't find it unless you like really went out of your way. But it's in the game. Why the hell is it there? Like someone programmed that in.
That's
like the poster "Ole gay." That's not gonna like critically offend everyone. It's just that's more like a stupid fucking joke.
If that was the only thing, I wouldn't have cared. I'm telling you right now.
I would have rolled my eyes
goofy.
And moved on. Yeah, exactly. I'm over that kind of joke, but that's about it. Like again, in middle school, that would have killed. But like, but middle schoolers today, I don't even know if they would care for that kind of thing. It's like a different climate.
It literally says fag bag in the game.
Yeah, that's the thing you can only access by hacking. That you're not going to just find that. But again, it's still in the game, which is the principle of the thing. Like, I don't know if it's since been removed, but like it was there though. Like why?
Maybe that was sometimes easy mod makers and easy developers sometimes hide this sort of these little treasures all over the web.
No, I definitely that stuff definitely happens in games. Like I get it, but why?
I get it too. Like... But I get that they were probably just messing around, but
don't put that shit in your public release where, like, this is hacker culture.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Games are data mined, like, before they're officially released.
They're going to find it. People are going to find it, and, like, it doesn't have any... And, like, maybe, if you're messing around with your friends or whatever, that's fine at home or whatever, when you think it's funny and you're with a bunch of people that know you're just joking and don't mean any harm.
Yeah, but a like, worldwide release?
This is out of context. I don't know any of those people. Like... Yeah,
it just looks to me like, oh, those are the kinds of people who would use that kind of language because they did.
Yeah, exactly, and the kind of people that would put it in a publicly released game, a high profile game.
They've been hyping this for a while.
This is a high profile game. I mean, this isn't just your run of the mill indie game.
So all the people going to hack themselves away just to look at it and get upset? Or
well, no. Again, it's the principle of the thing. Like, I'm not gonna hack. Like, I'm not a hacker at all. But like, it's just again, like now that I've heard that it's in there, it's like, man, why? That's just bad taste. I mean, like, if other people want to enjoy it, I'm not gonna stop them. I don't care. But like, I'll hold off.
I mean, that's the equivalent of like the back page of a book. Outside of the story, there's just a bunch of slurs on a piece of paper. At the end of the book.
Yeah,
it has nothing to do with the
book
itself, but like I got to the end of the book and I looked at it and I'm like, oh, or my friend told me it was there. I don't want to buy that book because it has a bunch of slurs in it. And,
it feels weird.
Yeah, like why?
Well, actually, no. It comes off more to me like an actor you really liked. It turns out like a decade after you watched their stuff and loved it, like, oh, it turns out this actor's it's like the Bill Cosby thing. It's like, well, now I can't watch the Cosby Show the same way again.
Roman Polanski made one of the best films of all time. A few of them.
Chinatown?
Chinatown, and he made Rosemary's Baby. Like he's
oh,
made
that was him?
Yeah, he made a bunch of great movies. He's a piece of shit. Like
yeah. Well, that's the thing. I love Ender's Game to death, but the author's fucking garbage. And now it's like, well, now I'm not gonna go seek out the sequels unless it's like the library or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what the right response is, but I don't think the right response would have been to never have released it like that.
Yeah, that's true.
That is the only way that this could have been the best. Like this kind of stuff wouldn't even be in my mind, if they just released it and now they're doubling down on it, which that I find is goofy as shit. Like they could have just said, hey, we were just goofing off, we thought it was funny, but we could see in a different context it isn't. Yeah. Like that's a good way of handling it. This
I think that
doubling it down.
There are things that, like, today's outrage culture is a little bit...
I mean, outrage culture is real, but, like, that just seems like a weird thing to choose to put in your game.
I agree, but...
I mean, is that going to ruin your whole experience? I don't know. Ask each individual person. Lots of people won't give a shit. Lots of people will be like, it bothers me, but I'll still play it. Like, it depends on who's playing. I don't know.
Like, you can... People put, well, it's not the best thing compared to Nevermind.
I'm trying to think of a contemporary example. Because again, it's like what I was saying about Leisure Suit Larry. There's like a super transphobic like segment in one of the older games, but like you can kind of write that game off as being a product of its time. But if you look back at today, it's like super gross. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, they released like the new Leisure Suit Larry game. That shit ain't in there. Like I wonder why.
Yeah.
They would be crucified.
Oh my god, dude. It would be a disaster and a half. In fact, actually, going back to Yakuza 3 real quick, there was one mission in the PS3 game where it's basically that. Like, this is kind of an anime trope. It's not one of the bigger tropes, but it's enough to be maybe recognizable, where you have, like, a big, burly-looking... Like, it's like the Japanese sort of gay stereotype, kind of. Like, the big, burly-looking woman with, like, way too much lipstick on, and you're like... And they're, like, chasing you, calling you handsome, and you're like, uh-oh, this person's ugly, I'm out of here. Like, that was a mission in Yakuza 3. I don't think that mission made it into the remaster. And again, that's, like, a dated joke and offensive to boot, so, like, I'm not 100% on this, but I don't think that's in the re-release. So, like, props to Sega for being, like, for like, having the awareness to be like, yeah, we did it, we're not doing it again.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they could have been number one more creative. Number two, they could have done without it.
The poster was just could have been more creative. Like that's almost funny because of how immature it is. It's like more like okay, like dude, what year is it? Like
it's like middle school style humor.
Fucking synth music in the background. What kind of year it is do you think it is?
Yeah, right.
Well, moving on from that, I didn't want to spend that kind of time, but
Yeah, it's a difficult topic.
It is.
Yeah, it is, and you know what? Like I said, if you want to go out and get this, like I said, I'm not taking away from the actual quality of the game. It is,
and if you play it, you will enjoy yourself.
Yeah,
it's good gunpowder.
I'm just bummed that something I like is tainted. It's just. Not something I...
You know what it is? It makes me think of Devotion with the stupid, shot at the Chinese president. It's like, you were doing everything right, and then you did this one other thing.
That's actually a good comparison.
Yeah, I mean, that's not going to offend a whole group of people necessarily, unless, I guess the Chinese are fiercely loyal to their president, but that's a really fucking stupid move.
It's just as offensive to the people that are mainland nationalists. Like the same kind of thing. But
it does feel weird when it almost makes me think it's almost like there's kind of like an expression like brothers will fight each other in the home, but like fiercely defend each other like outside of the home. That's not how the expression goes, but that's what it means.
I know what you mean.
Like I can make fun of my brother and he can make fun of me, like all we want. But if someone else goes after us, oh shit, like you stay out of this.
Well, like, because like when you do it to your brother, it's loving criticism, right?
Not even necessarily. Even if it's actual mean-spirited brothers fighting, like if someone else gets in on it, it's like, hey, mind your own fucking business, and it becomes like both of your brother, you and your brother are best friends now.
Nobody hurts my brother but me.
Yeah, exactly. So like, even if you're not loyal to your country's leader, if someone else makes fun of it, it's like, what do you know? Like that kind of thing.
I should say that that it was a slightly different situation. I mean, a different situation with the devotion. I mean, that was
that was more of a directed
like,
attack that they chose to keep in there.
Government censorship. They lost their business license because of that.
Yeah, that was actual censorship.
That's
what censorship
really
is.
Sucks.
People bitching at you and you feeling pressure to censor. That you could argue that censorship, but that's not the same kind at all.
Yeah. I think they're in the same wheelhouse, but kind of apples and oranges.
Yeah, they're not one-to-one, yeah.
Because, political criticism is something that needs to be able to be expressed.
Yeah.
Making fun of, a group of people that that didn't ask for it. Is a totally different thing. But we'll move on from there. Now, I just wanted to quickly say here, while we have a few minutes left, the 3DS and the Wii U are losing ability to add funds via credit card in the EU on the eShop.
I think you could still buy like
points.
the e-cards though. Yeah.
Yeah, this stinks. This is kind of the death knell for both of those systems. Pretty soon I mean, that's just in Europe, keep in mind, but it's probably not too far behind, that it'll happen in America, if you ask me.
This is the WiiWare thing all over again. Like, all of a sudden, everyone's going to make a mad dash to pick up whatever games they were kind of thinking about but haven't actually bought yet.
Yeah, the big thing that you're going to have to worry about, and this wasn't such a widespread thing on the Wii when that happened on the Wii, but there's way more DLC for these two systems. So you'll also have to think about like DLC you haven't bought for the games that you already own as
That's
well.
True.
So it just kind of stinks, It seems like it's a little soon. Too. It seems like it's a little soon. Considering that we had a 3DS physical game come out just only about a month ago at this point.
Yeah.
Whenever Persona Q2 came out. And the Wii U just had a game as well. I think it was the Just Dance game, which I think is going to go down as probably the last physical game.
Yeah, those games will never die.
But it's a shame that Axiom Verge couldn't be the last physical game. That would have been
a weird,
a little bit more
release.
meaningful. It would have been a little bit more meaningful if you ask me. But
maybe limited run games can do Fatal Frame 5, last chance. I would freaking kill for that.
Yeah, that would have been cool too. They should just put a collection on the Switch and have 4 and 5 on there. And that would be probably the best thing.
Can you still use Wiimotes on the Switch?
You can use one of the Joy-Cons as a Wii.
Maybe it'll work, because Fatal Frame 4 was like Wiimote and I forgot if you used the nunchuck or not.
Yeah, I think it did. You can get around that. You can make it work some other way, or remaster it, or a remake.
Yeah, a remaster of especially 4 would be appreciated, because 4 is buggy.
Yeah, it's buggy, and it was only in Japanese officially, so.
Yes.
Dude, buggy.
Yeah.
But I mean, one of these days we'll have to do a CoreCon episode on like 3DS games that you must play, like that kind of thing, that were digital only. Same thing with Wii U. That way we can get that info out there. What games you should be purchasing. I think we did that for the WiiWare before WiiWare died. So yeah.
And I got the most important game of all, Muscle March and Stone Keep Bones of the Ancestors.
when you think that you could, it would be great if somebody had politically censored a game. It would have been Stone Keep 2.
Well, what's the political part? That it sucks so bad it shouldn't make it to any country?
That is correct.
And I fucking beat that game too.
I'm sorry.
No games should be censored.
I think I was the first person on at least English speaking YouTube to like make it to the end.
Ugh.
And congratulations for it. It was very amusing.
Congratulations is an interesting choice of words.
I was bemused.
I'd say more like I feel sorry for you for that. The ending was hilarious, but thank you for real. It was like, it was just starting to get kind of interesting at the very end, and then it was over.
No, it wasn't.
It's like they designed like the last level first, and then the rest was like, I don't know.
Yep. Anyway, quickly here, Retrobit is officially releasing Mega Man Wily Wars for the Genesis physically.
Yeah, that's insane.
So this is the first time this game is getting a physical release.
This is a game I see like as like a repro cart in like every convention I go to. There's always at least one booth that sells repro carts for like the European and Japanese games we never got. So they'll sell repro stuff of Homebrew. They'll sell repro of Bare Knuckle 3, which is actually
Alien Soldier's a big one for that.
Alien Soldier, Golden Axe 3, but I always see Wily Wars. I always see Pulse Man. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now we're getting actual official Wily Wars, which is amazing.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of those repro carts, especially since they all take donor carts. Plus, they're selling somebody else's work as well. Without their permission. I generally don't see a whole lot of harm in it, but like some people have an entire business around it, and
like I was saying, like it
feels
the
wrong.
kiosks. Yeah.
Yeah, thankfully we have flash carts now that allow you to play whatever you want, without having to kill an old cart. You might not think that
Well, the flash carts still kill an old cart, don't they?
What is it?
The flash carts still kill an old cart, don't they?
No, they don't. They're all brand new components.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're all brand new components and newly made shells and all that stuff.
Well, okay.
Nowadays, anyway. Maybe in the beginning, they would use like a donor cart for the plastic.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
But not anymore. And
okay.
This Wily Wars has a brand new translucent blue shell.
Yep.
So it looks very nice. I will not be buying it, but it's cool.
This was like this used to be like a Sega Channel game, right? That was like the only way America ever touched it.
That's correct. It came out physically in Japan and Europe, but never came out physically in the U.S. Just Sega Channel, along with Pulseman was like that, I think too.
And Golden Axe 3.
Golden Axe 3 was like that as well. Yeah, you're right. But it's cool. It's a curiosity. It is not one of the best Mega Man games. In fact, playing Mega Man 1, 2, and 3 in their original NES versions is
which is ironic because Wily Wars kind of is a best of the old Mega Man games.
Yeah, I mean it's a complete versions of Mega Man 1, 2, and 3. It's just the timing doesn't feel right and the physics don't feel right, and that's very important in a Mega Man game.
Is that just how the game was, or is that because it's like basically a European game?
No, it was made in Japan by Capcom, but it just doesn't feel right.
Okay.
Like it's changed, and like it feels like like playing the new Crash Bandicoot trilogy. It's slightly
it's not
off.
Like what you remember from the PS1 game?
Yeah, it's slightly off. The timing's slightly off. And
okay.
So it's that's important in this type of game. It's important in Crash Crash Trilogy. That sort of thing is important in a timing-based game. So, and one other thing, I just wanted to quickly mention this because I don't know much about it, but Remedy, the maker of Max Payne 1 and 2, and also Alan Wake, as well as was it Quantum Drive? Is that what it's called?
I don't remember.
But anyway, they're a great company. Their games are all really good. They're coming out with a new game called Control this week.
I heard about that.
Early reviews are saying it's really positive. So.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really excited about that. So, I don't know much about it, but I'll probably end up picking it up sooner.
I'm
or later.
behind. I haven't even played Max Payne 2.
Max Payne 2 is phenomenal. That I have played.
I played the first.
1 and 2. 2 is considered by a lot of people to be like one of the best games of all time.
Like I mean, Max Payne like invented the bullet hell, didn't it?
In video games.
Bullet time.
Bullet time.
Bullet time. Excuse me. Yeah, not bullet hell. Sorry, I was way off. Yeah, bullet time.
Bullet time in games. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. In fact, I think it was first called bullet time. In Max Payne, and that's why it's called that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think like in Matrix, I don't think they had a name for it. I don't think they called it bullet time.
Just slow motion. Yeah.
Yeah. I they had it, but they didn't have a name for it. You know
right.
You know what I mean? And then Max Payne like officially called it bullet time. It's like QTEs. You know, like QTEs were in video games. You know, before Shenmue, but
Shenmue just has an arcade game called like QTE Fighter 1 or whatever.
They literally call it QuickTime Event in the like the demo, I guess, or whatever, you know.
That too. Okay.
In the instruction manual or whatever. So, but this is cool. I'm really happy that they have you know another game releasing.
I'm curious, which was first, Shenmue or Dance Dance Revolution?
Dance Dance Revolution was on the PS1.
That's true, yeah.
Okay, because that's the first quick time event game.
No, I would say
even before that, there were Sega CD games where like the whole game was just watching a video and pressing buttons at the appropriate times.
Yeah, I mean it was all based off of arcade Laserdisc games, like Dragon's Lair.
It was slightly less forgiving than the.
Oh
yes,
yeah. That's for sure. But
figure out what to push.
Yeah, I mean, at least we have like
even Dragon's Lair.
Yeah. Even like Spider-Man has QTEs. Jeez. But they're not nearly as annoying or unforgiving. Resident Evil 4, you straight up die like in the middle of a freaking cutscene.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the knife fight, which is amazing, but it keeps going and it's unskippable because the whole thing's QTEs. It's like everything you ever do in Until Dawn. It's like it's unskippable because it's a movie.
Yeah. So anyway, I think does anybody else have any other news for the good of the order that they want to talk about?
I think I'm good.
How about you, Dracologist?
Nothing. Well, I want to say something witty, but probably it wouldn't come out right.
Okay. Well, you'll also be happy that Invisigun is now on the Switch.
Invisigun Heroes?
Yeah. They.
Oh, that game is great.
Yeah, they just added it to Switch, like a remade version of the game. So I did want to let you know about that real quick before we signed off here.
Hey.
But for anybody who doesn't know, it's kind of like a Bomberman-ish type game, like a 4-player overhead.
Everyone is invisible and like literally you don't know where you are, so you have to remember your number of steps you take and such. And everyone has a death ray, so a one shot, one kill. And there are multiple of characters that have various kind of traits that can be used. Like somebody has like a little scanner that can detect other players.
Oh, so it's almost like the new Bomberman on the Switch, where like the outsider characters have like a little quirk, like Pyramid Head or Gradius or Simon Belmont or whatever.
Yeah, like a slight advantage.
They have some sort of little special move they can do.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Well, that'll be the show for this week. Please remember to subscribe to the Corrective Consciousness YouTube and SoundCloud pages. While there, please give us thumbs ups, likes, and 5-star ratings on iTunes. Helps promote and spread awareness of the show, and any bit of encouragement helps keep the show going. You can also catch us on Thursday for our sister podcast, Corrective Consciousness, the podcast where we explore stuff that is less inflammatory. Finally, you can friend me as vysethebold on Steam, PSN, Xbox Live, Twitter, Switch, and Battle.net.
You could follow me on my YouTube channel, Lotus Prince. You can hit me up on Twitter at Lotus Prince. And finally, if you are interested in seeing my videos early, getting in on exclusive live streams, selecting upcoming games for me to Let's Play, just today I announced Folklore is coming soon on PS3.
Like the actual genre, or
the game?
The game.
Oh, the Fishing for Souls game. Oh, yeah.
That is exactly what it is. And getting involved in conversations with me and other patrons on Discord, then perhaps consider swinging by my Patreon account, which can be found at patreon.com/LotusPrince.
And you can find me on Skype, Steam, and Discord as Dracologist.
Oh, real quick, right before we sign off, I just read a tweet that is actually really interesting. So normally I wouldn't do this, but this really fits right in with the theme of most of the stuff we talked about. So there is a Mega Man Zero ZX Legacy Collection that just leaked out.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, on PSN. So,
hey.
I'm surprised the DS games are there. That's really cool. ZX and ZX7. Those games are great.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's really, really neat. So apparently that's an official thing now. So, yeah, I'm excited for that. That's for sure. All right. Well, we'll catch everybody on Thursday where we have a nice episode about our favorite board game /
game show games. There we go. So we'll build off of that. We'll catch you then. Okay. Until next time, everyone.
Good evening.